What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're looking at my resolutions. Now you might notice that July didn't come with a favorites video. Honestly, I had filmed it, but because I was doing video dumps sort of towards the end of last month to try and catch up on some of the videos that I'd not done because of starting work and just cramming a whole heap of study. When I finished filming it and went to finish recording, it didn't actually save the file on my phone. And by the time I realised that it hadn't saved it on my phone, I had already deleted and changed my note so that I knew what to sort of expect for this month. So I can't tell you exactly what the artists were. I can tell you that there was about 8 different shows spread across Disney Plus and Netflix that I watched. Yeah, it was pretty extensive. Yeah, I'll try to remember as much as I can, and I'll leave them linked down below, and I'll try and leave a bit of a list as well, so that you sort of know what to be looking for as far as what July was like. But this video is about August, so let's do our resolutions. If you haven't seen my resolutions videos before, I have 5 main categories, and I try to limit myself to a maximum of 3 within each. At the moment I've only got 2 in each, and I actually, even though the last week for sure has just been a fustercluck, it's, yeah, I've actually done pretty well this month, all things considered, when looking at my resolutions, which has definitely given me a bit of a confidence boost, given me a bit of a, I've been able to sort of throw some stress off of my shoulders. So let's look at them. We've got relationships, career, fitness, well-being, and finances. So number 1, we've got spend more time with family and friends and prioritize self-care. I'm going to sort of talk about the self-care one first, because I think it's the easiest to sort of get out of the way. I did my hair care routine this month, and obviously because I've now got a job, hygiene is sort of paramount, because I've got to present a certain way. So that's obviously helped with the whole prioritizing self-care thing, but more than just, you know, forcing me to have to look after my hygiene more than I already was, which obviously can sometimes be a little bit challenging when I'm just feeling overwhelmed and my depression's zapped me of my motivation. Aside from that, I have actually gone to some efforts to eliminate things, whether they be people, situations, or just not going back to certain places that I just find drain me of my energy. I know in my get to know me that I think that was last month, where I sort of went on about my personality. I know in that my thing showed up that I was I think it was ENTJ. It was the protagonist. I'm pretty sure that was ENTJ, but I do remember that the scores for the introvert extrovert were very close. So my introvert can sometimes poke his head up and just be like, okay, that's it, we're done. We're going home, we need to recharge. And there have been times where, you know, a certain person or a certain place or a certain situation just, you know, especially when it's like a recurring person, place or situation, it just like saps me of my energy. I've made efforts to just cut them off more cleanly than I did with my sleeves on my cosplay that I made. If you haven't seen that, please go check it out. I'm very happy with where it's at the moment. It's still in development. When I've fully finished it, I will make a much better video about it. But that's been that one. Spending more time with family and friends. I reconnected with my best friend again. We've got an interesting dynamic. And we've been through a lot of crap together. So I don't think I'll ever be able to, you know, fully give up on them. And I'm working at trying to, at least for the last couple of months of the year, get at least a fortnightly games month, games month. Yeah, a fortnightly games night up and running. So I'll see how that goes. But honestly, I'm not really got high hopes for it, if I'm being completely honest. Just because I know that people's schedules can be just full on sometimes, and I don't want people to feel like they have to if they've got everything else on. Career. Apply for AFTers and complete my in-gym studies. Now I've got that as in-gym studies. It's a work placement, and I should probably change that to work placement. Let me do that right now. Work. I'll put the abbreviation of my course provider there. Alright, so applying for AFTers and doing my work placement are the two for my career. Obviously, I did a whole last video on my applying for AFTers, so we know where I'm at on that. As for completing my ARPD work placement, there are 6 things in total that I need. I need a form filled in by them that says that I'm allowed to do that they're happy for me to do my work placement at that gym. And when I go in for my next session this Friday coming, I'll be able to pick that up. I need a working with children's check, which all I've got to do for that is actually go into Service New South Wales and to pay for it, and it's done. I need my first aid certificate, which I'm just waiting for the actual transcript to come in. Hopefully that won't take too long, because time's running out for me on this, and I can't move on to the next modules until I've done this work placement, unfortunately. And then I need to do my 3 modules, which have assignments with them. I know for a fact I've already finished one of my modules. I need to double check. I may have done 2. I may have finished 2 already, because my last assignment that I submitted took a couple of days to get marked, and then when it came back there was only 1 question that I needed to fix up. So yeah, pretty happy with that. It just means that once I find out, and that'll probably be tomorrow afternoon, once I find that out, it's a matter of just finishing off my last assignment and getting all of my forms in. So hopefully, fingers crossed, by the end of this week, I should be able to go in and start doing my work placement, which will, that's gonna be a fun one to try and work it around also doing my job. So I don't know how that's gonna work, but anyway, fitness, attending PT sessions and eating better. I'm gonna start with this one because honestly I could be doing better. I've got my water bottle here. This is actually my gym bottle. Thank you. I was actually going to have a drink. I don't know what it is. It's supposed to be winter, but it was like 30 degrees today. And I'm not talking Fahrenheit there. Australia does not use Fahrenheit. I'm talking 30 degrees Celsius, which is, I think, akin to 72 Fahrenheit. I could be wrong, but I think it's right about that area. It was a warm day. But you know, my eating, but like I've got my water bottle there. But I do also have snacks and stuff when I'm watching Netflix at night. And that can mean that I'm waking up feeling a bit ick in the stomach, and therefore I don't eat breakfast. As well as you add to the fact that being up watching Netflix and stuff, because my insomnia is just being a bitch, means that I'm not waking up till like midday anyway. So my first meal of the day is generally lunch. It's still technically breakfast. I'll get into that in my next meal planning and food video thing. But I could be doing better at that. And now that I've mentioned it, I am going to make a meal plan video. And we can actually sort of have a look at, like I'll actually go through the Australian dietary guidelines as well, and sort of point out what they are for my age group. And then for attending PT sessions, obviously I'm back into doing those as well. June and July were just sort of, they were rough. They were rough months for PT sessions, because the one I've just done like 2-3 days ago was my first one in about 2 months, and my arm is feeling it. I'm just hoping I don't sleep on it funny tonight, because it was like doing fine yesterday, and I woke up this morning and all day just in the actual joint itself has been like, I've just, not for me, thank you, take this pain away and keep it, please. Wellbeing, and this is more looking at less of a physical health and more of a mental and emotional health check. So we've got keeping a mental health diary and attending psychologist appointments. This one I did, I know for a fact, because it was a whole big confusing thing. And I've now had to, instead of doing Tuesdays like I normally would, I'm now doing, I think it's Thursdays, potentially Fridays. I think it might be Fridays, which certainly makes workouts. Interesting, because I've also got to try and put those on different dates. But from where I live, my psychologist is that direction, about 10-15 minutes, and my workouts that way, about half hour, 45 minutes away. And there's no like direct way between the two of them. So if they're on the same date, they have to be separated by about not only like the hour-long session, but the end of this one and the start of this one have to be separated by about an hour. So I've got time to make it there, and allow for traffic as well. So I generally try not to put them on the same day. But keeping a mental health diary, I didn't do. Straight up, I didn't do it. Take the L on it. It means that so far, out of a total of 8, I've got a score of 6 that I've completed. Because the Eat Better one, I can still do that. I can still eat better. I didn't really do that this month. We made a small effort, but it realistically in the long run wasn't enough. But we're definitely taking an L on this mental health diary one. And in fact, I'm about to go and fill out August 1st for the day. I'm going to leave it on my bedside table so that I have to fill it in, and hopefully we'll do better this month, and we'll leave it up. As for our last but not least, finances, review my budget, and I've got a savings goal as well. Here I've got a certain amount over a certain period of time, or like every sort of rotation of that period of time. So my reviewing budget one is definitely going to have to be done. I was going to do it this month. I didn't because I got my job sort of halfway through it, and because Sunlink paid me fortnightly. These guys are now paying me fortnightly, but these guys were paying me, say, on week A, right? Out of the fortnight. These guys are paying me on week B, and because of that, I'm not going to get my pay from Centrelink this week, which is an A week, which means I also have to rework when my automatic deduction for my rent comes out. So it's a whole, like, I actually got to sit down and review it this month, because yeah, I was able to pay my rent on the correct week last fortnight, but it's due tomorrow, and I'm hoping that I can sort of delay it by a week for when I get paid by my actual job, and like I just said, be paying on week B of the fortnight instead of week A, and hopefully that'll still work for me. And then as for my savings goal, it's currently over 4 times what I had planned it to be, which is obviously a great accomplishment. It could have been better. But certain things needed to be done in the last couple of days. So it could have been better. It could have been over 8 times. But over 4 times is still nothing to scoff at. So yeah. That's all I've got for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a big thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you're new here, and that notification bell as well if you're notified when I upload new videos. I will sort of leave my general, just sort of like an empty template sort of thing in the description for you guys if you want to start keeping to your resolutions with me, as well as I will link sort of as much of the stuff as I can think of that should have been in my favorites video. I'll leave that linked below as well. But yeah, with all that out of the way, guys, until next time, keep your head screwed on.